What's up everybody, Adam here. In this video, I'm going to answer the question, is e-commerce worth it with little to no capital? Is it possible to start an e-commerce business without any money? Do you need a lot of money to get started? Before I go into detail on why you do not, the first thing I'm going to tell you is it is absolutely worth it. We are in a golden era of e-commerce. It's never been easier to build and scale a brand from 0 to 6, 7, 8, and even 9 figures in revenue and make life-changing money along the way, as well as the potential to sell that business for many, many millions of dollars in a very short time. I'm talking 2, 3 years even. That's really never before been possible, especially not in more recent years. And I will tell you that it's absolutely worth it. You should get started right away if this is an idea that you have. If you want to sell online, if you want to make money online, we're in the golden era, and I suggest you get started right away. Now, to the details. E-commerce is a capital-intensive business. So you know, I've been in the e-commerce world for almost 15 years. I've built and sold several brands for multi-millions of dollars. I also was a co-founder of one of the largest Amazon agencies in the world, which I also sold. And I've raised over 8 figures in venture capital money for software business that I was a co-founder of. E-commerce inherently is a capital-intensive business because you're making something and then you're selling it. And usually to make or acquire a product to sell, you have to pay for that. Now, there's a lot of nuance there, and there's a couple of business models that don't require as much upfront capital. One of them is drop shipping, which I don't recommend doing. I'm not a proponent of drop shipping. I don't think it's a great business model, even though there's tons of people out there selling you courses on drop shipping. I wouldn't do it. The reason being is it's very difficult to build a brand doing drop shipping, and there's a lot of things that are not within your control that as you scale as a business become really, really important. One of them being you don't have control over inventory, you don't have really brand equity, meaning it's hard to build a brand on a drop shipping model, which makes it really inherently hard to sell. And in general, the margins aren't that great, right? So I don't recommend doing that. A lot of people try with that and then they don't do well and they get a bit discouraged. So I'm just saying don't do it. I would just get started building your own brand right away if you want to build an online business. The other option or business model that doesn't require a lot of upfront capital is print on demand. Now, people typically associate print on demand with things like shirts, but the interesting thing is that model has evolved a lot, and there's a lot of things that you can do print on demand. You can do mugs, you can do rugs, you can do posters, you can do blankets, you can do all kinds of different things that, if set up correctly, oftentimes you don't need to pay for the product until the product is sold. So that is a model, but again, you kind of have the same problem there as you do with drop shipping in that it's a little bit more difficult to build a brand and you don't have as much brand equity, you don't have as much control over the manufacturing process, and you're also limited to the type of products that you can do via print on demand. Now, I think that's a great model to get started if you don't have any capital, because in order to build a brand, eventually you're going to need some money to invest into it, but it is probably not the best long-term business model for something that's going to be scalable and sellable. I know that there are outliers to that. There are some great brands that have been built around print on demand, and more power to them. I'm just saying that it's more of a thing to help you get started and to understand e-commerce and to learn the process and then to earn some capital so that you can invest in your own products and to build your own brand that way. Now, to the bigger question, is e-commerce possible without any money? Well, yes, because I just gave you 2 examples, one of them which is viable to start with, but the other is that there's a lot of ways to raise money, right? So it may feel like sometimes that you don't have money, but we live in an era, especially if you're living in the United States, although pretty much everywhere nowadays has some sort of form of this, where capital is really abundant, right? You're just not looking in the right places, okay? So I'll give you some easy ways to start with little or no money to either raise money or to get access to capital and to get started with your first business. One of the most, I would say, powerful, unknown, and easiest ways to getting your hands on money to get started is with a business credit card. Okay, so this is mainly if you're living in the United States. The first thing you need to do is incorporate your business. So start an LLC or some sort of incorporation. I am not a tax advisor. I am not a financial advisor. So none of this is financial advice. I just want to be very clear about that. I'm not advocating for one thing or the other. I'm just explaining to you that in order to get a business credit card, you have to have a company. And so there's ways to do that and businesses out there that can help you do that. But there's tons of credit cards available to new business owners that have no interest for 12 months. I will maybe try to link to some of those in the video and you can see, but basically just search 0% interest business credit cards. And basically the only requirement is that you're going to need to have a company, right? So there's a lot of factors that go into how much credit you're actually going to get, but I know people that have opened multiple cards and were able to get their hands on $100,000 or even $200,000 in capital to get started through business credit cards with no interest for 12 months, meaning you have 12 months to use that money and make a return on it before you have to pay it back. Now, I want to just caution you a little bit here, right? I'm not a proponent on taking on a lot of debt. I have done it for my businesses in the past, and I do think in the right ways it can accelerate your business. But you just need to keep in mind that you do need to pay that money back, right? So, I wouldn't go completely nuts and spend all the money right away. But, to get started realistically, you might only need, $5,000 to source your first 1,000 units to sell on TikTok Shop. And you can get that very easily through an LLC or a business that you have by applying for business credit cards. The other option is an SBA loan. I would say that this is maybe a better option if you've already been in business for a while. There's a lot of stuff that you need to fill out and a lot of steps to take to get access to the credit. And you're personally underwriting it, meaning it's attached to your personal name, not through the business. So if something goes wrong, you still need to pay that money back, right? You're not going to be able to get out of it via bankruptcy or something like that, although maybe you can. I'm not sure 100%, but point being, it's in your name. So you need to know that you're liable for that debt. It's also a really cumbersome process in a lot of ways, and you typically need to apply and that kind of thing. And they want to see a lot of information about your company. I have gotten an SBA loan in the past for one of my businesses, but I just remember the process took a while and I had to work with a partner bank that I already had a relationship with, and it was a bit challenging. So I would say for new businesses, it's probably not the best route. The other alternative is to go out and start to earn some money, right? So, you can save up money from your job. If you're not able to do that, you could start a side hustle of some sort. One of the easiest ways to make money is to actually be a TikTok Shop affiliate. And I would say, I highly recommend anyone who wants to create a physical products business now is to start with TikTok Shop affiliate. And in a nutshell, basically, you'll be learning how to create content and you'll link to other brands' products and earn a commission anytime a sale happens through the content that you've created. There's tons of courses out there that exist and a lot of YouTube videos which teach you how to do this for free. You're going to need some requirements. One of them is, I think nowadays you have to have at least 5,000 followers on your account, which realistically you can buy accounts, that have that for like $200 or $300. And you can get started right away. And you just message the different brand owners, you apply for a sample. They'll usually send you a sample for free. And you want to get started posting. You want to try to see what content performs the best, what goes viral, and just mimic that stuff. I'll make a whole separate video on that at some point, because I think even if you're an established brand owner and you have a business already, or if you're getting ready to launch a physical product business, an e-commerce business, you should learn how to do this anyway, because you're going to have to coach or give guidance on other affiliates when you give them your product. Plus, you can get started with your own product, right? Like you can be an affiliate for yourself and promote the product and just get used to the platform and understand like what content resonates, what doesn't. Start to use some of the, for you recommendations on the for you page on TikTok. Basically learn the whole platform so that you can take advantage of it when it comes time to launch and scale your own products. There's also family, right? So, I mean, not everybody has the same setup as everybody else, but if you're really serious about running a business, maybe you can loan some money from a family member, or you can borrow from friends. I would say that this is probably like my least favorite thing, because it just comes with a slew of like baggage with it, and I want you to be careful with that, but it is an option for some people. I would just treat it very seriously if you go that route. Don't treat it loosely like, oh, it's a family member, I just want to borrow some money from you. Draft a contract, put together an overview of what you want to do with your business, make some projections. Basically, the same thing you do as if you applied, for a loan from the bank or from the SBA, the Small Business Administration. You're going to want to look professional, even if it's from a family member. So those are some easy ways to get started with an initial amount of capital. The great thing is that it's not expensive at all to start a business. And once you get going and start selling the product that you've invested in, you're going to make a profit right away. And as long as you keep reinvesting that money into the business and not doing stupid stuff right away, like buying luxury watches or just spending way out of your means just because you make a couple $1,000s on your first sale, you're going to see that money compound so quickly, because you're going to be able to reinvest in your business. You're going to be able to buy more inventory. You're going to be able to promote your products more with different types of marketing. You're going to invest in hiring people. You're going to be able to scale your business, and it happens so quickly, right? The biggest mistake I see is people making a little bit of money and they're like, oh my gosh, I got some money now, and they start spending it on things that aren't reinvesting in the business. You have to have a long-term vision for success. That's free, right? The best part about it is that is free. Mentality is free, right? But it's probably the most important thing in running a business, and it's something that you need to invest in to improve yourself and to make sure that your business is a success. If I'm talking hard numbers here about getting started on TikTok Shop, basically, if you're going to source and launch your own product, you're probably going to need somewhere like $5,000 to get started, okay? Because if you can just do some basic unit economics, you're going to want to order probably at least 500 or 1,000 units, because you can need to give a bunch away to affiliates to start promoting your product for you, right? And then you're going to need some to sell as well. And let's say you order 1,000 pieces and the cost to produce the product is $5, and you can sell it for $40 or $45. You still have to pay $5,000 to acquire the product, and then when it comes to selling it, you'll make your return, and then you'll get your cost basis back as well as profit, which then you can use to place the reorder. There's a lot of moving parts in that though, and I'll make a whole separate video on unit economics and cash conversion cycles. It's a little bit more a part of kind of e-commerce business operations, but it's just something to keep in mind. When it comes to ordering, what you can aim to do eventually is to establish terms with your supplier, so that after you've made some orders with them, maybe you can negotiate terms where you don't pay them anything until the product has arrived to you, or you reduce your initial deposit on the order and you extend the repayment terms, so that you have more time to recoup the capital before you actually have to place another order. And that's really more about cash management, and it's like a beast in and of itself. I would say don't worry so much about that just yet until you get started and start making sales. The number one thing is just to take action and to start to search for products that you want to sell and start to build your brand. But that's also another way to kind of mitigate cash when it comes to starting and running an e-commerce business. So just to recap, credit cards, business credit cards, easy access to capital, definitely more than enough to get started. You'll need probably $5,000 or so if you want to actually source a product and start selling it right away. Alternatively, you could do print on demand businesses. One way to really easily get started is to do TikTok Shop print on demand t-shirts, right? So look at what's popular, what's trending. We have the holiday season coming up. Very obvious time to make a ton of money to get started. You could do, Christmas themed t-shirts. You could do politically themed t-shirts. You could do any of the holidays t-shirts. People are a little bit looser with their spending around the holidays. And who doesn't love a great Merry Christmas t-shirt or whatever? So you could, very easily using AI tools, create several designs, print some samples of the t-shirt, pay a little bit of money to do that, $50 or whatever, and start to make content with them. And you connect your print on demand site to TikTok Shop and you'll start getting sales already, right? So that's an easy way to get some capital so that you can expand your business. And I know people doing that, making $200,000-$300,000 a month on t-shirts, right? So the ultimate goal though is to get the capital flowing in to actually start doing this, to start making sales. Once you start making sales, you're gonna feel amazing. You're gonna feel so inspired. You're gonna wanna continue to reinvest in your business and the money will come, right? The money will flow to you once you start making money. Again, you could also just start doing affiliate content yourself, right? Apply for the TikTok Shop affiliate program. Again, you need to have enough followers, but you can buy followers or buy an account already through different platforms out there. One of them is called FameSwap, I think, and it's like $200 or something to buy an account with 10,000 followers already. There's some steps there too, right, to make sure that you do it right and don't get banned, but that's an easy way to get started. And then just go in and start requesting samples from suppliers and start making content, and you'll start to get some commissions if you learn what you're doing and you do it well. So in a nutshell, e-commerce is definitely worth it, and now is the time to get started. If you start now and you follow the steps that I'm showing you, if you go through the program with me, if you talk to me and get my guidance, there's absolutely no reason at all why you shouldn't have a multi-million-dollar revenue brand within 12 months. That's like, an average result. I would say there's a possibility even to get to 10 million in revenue and beyond within that time. But I just want to kind of be realistic. Not everybody's going to be able to do that, but you should have a 7-figure brand. And the most amazing part about this is, you can run it from anywhere. You can run it from a laptop. Once it gets going, you can hire out a lot of the stuff. So you only have to work a couple hours a day on the important things to build this brand. And the biggest, most important thing is that you can sell the brand in the future, okay? Because yes, you can take money out of your business as it's growing, but you're gonna see that you don't wanna do that because you're gonna wanna reinvest, you're gonna wanna grow it, make it bigger and bigger and bigger. So a lot of times the real money in e-commerce is made on the sale of the brand, not during the process. But of course you can make money during the growth and scale phase as well. But you wanna be able to create a real brand, you wanna create that brand equity, you wanna scale the business and eventually sell it and make millions of dollars, and then do it all over again. Because I can assure you, once you've done it once, you're not going to want to retire. You're going to want to do it again and again and again, and in different ways, and you're going to want to invest in other businesses, and the possibilities are going to be endless. The world will open up to you. That's where I'm at right now, and I feel very fortunate to be in this situation. But it all started with the first sale that I got. And I didn't have any money when I got started, okay? I got started with no money, and I built the businesses up along the way and got to where I am. So don't hesitate. Don't be afraid. You don't need capital to get started. Yes, it helps, but it's not a requirement. All right, I'll see you in the next video.